What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're gonna be checking out a title that I've heard rattling around, but I was letting it kind of like develop out, get some updates and whatnot, and also I've just got a really long backlog of things that I just don't have time to get to. I get sent probably 10 games a day, and it's like I only get to make one video a day, and so things fall through the cracks. But today we're taking a look at Granvir. This is a game that seeks to kind of be an indie version of a splicing of Armored Core and Mech Warrior. This is a game where you're going to participate in a campaign in which you are a mercenary fighting as part of a resistance cell against an interstellar corporation that is rapidly gobbling up the galaxy. It's got a campaign map, it's got loads and loads of customization. I played around for like 30 minutes to an hour just to get the vibe of the game down and figure out all the controls and how everything works. But other than that, today we're going to be diving in, playing the game for about 30 minutes. I'm going to do my best to give you my impressions of this title. If after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, I got a link for you down below in the description. You can check it out there. The game is fully released, but the developer, from what I've read on the forum, seems to be really receptive to feedback, and so he's still tinkering and fiddling and patching and adding things that people are requesting, which is always a good sign. And then of course you can also find a link to a bunch of Nerd Castle stuff down there, just in case you wanted to give it the old spicy click. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start up a campaign. At the beginning of the game, you're going to have to decide on what campaign you want to play through. As far as I can tell, there's 3 campaigns right now of varying lengths, and then there's like a sandboxy thing that you can do, just in case you wanted to fool around inside the confines of the game. We'll do Millennium Horizon. So it says a foreign military force identifying itself as the Millennium Company has been detected on the surface of Inheritance. They have seized control of industrial facilities across the region and begun constructing defensive fortifications. Breach their lines with the help of the local resistance and destroy their terrestrial command center. Okay, let's do that, and then we also get to pick and choose a piloting class here. We can be a resistance ace. It looks like that allows us to move items in between different depots, which normally you can't do. That'll make sense in context once we actually get inside of the game, but this is a very, very useful ability because otherwise the game has almost like a little bit of a, I don't want to say a roguelike influence, but really you can't take it with you because you're a resistance fighter, so you're limited in the amount of stuff that you can bring from operating zone to operating zone by the storage of your mech, and being able to move stuff is actually very, very useful. And so that means you can actually store up extra loot and take it with you further on down the line. We can be a scavenger. This is very, very simple. Scavenger, it'll allow us to loot enemies after we kill them. We can be a mercenary. That starts us out with some extra rep. It looks like we get a lot more credits from bounties and side objectives, and we begin the campaign in depth. Okay, and then it choose a wide variety of parts for your starting Granvir. That would be really, really nice. Like some of these classes when you start out, you're just an improvised industrial mech and you're using things like pickaxes or harpoon guns in order to beat actual militarized machine gun toting mechs. It can be a little bit of a headache. We've also got the engineer. Some mechanic functions are performed at a reduced cost. Components and weapons can be specifically scavenged for. Parts can be upgraded for less credits. And then you can be a hero. We get 2 additional loot crates on every single battlefield map. I'm going to go with the mercenary for right now, just in the hopes that I can start out with a mech that I actually like playing. Because last time I played through, I was fiddling with the scavenger, and while you get tons of loot as the scavenger, this is definitely the class you want to pick if you enjoy Diablo, because this makes every single enemy a loot crate. At the same time, it took me a long time to get my mech up into shape, and I took a lot of scuffings along the way, and so I'm going to go with the mercenary this time around, even though it means I'm going to be in debita. And then we just got to pick a difficulty. I'll just go with normal, and then into the game we go. The beginning of the game, we get to pick between 2 things that we might conceivably want to put on our mech from a pre-existing operation that just happened off camera. I'm going to go with the side story, which is a gun, and then I'll probably go with like an arm maybe? Yeah, I'm going to take an arm. And so it looks like my mercenary loadout for right now, I've got to go through here, and I'm just going to take like everything, I think. And now we've got to build our starting mech. So we've started out with some leggies. That's good. My last one, it started out with like these spider legs that were for industrial usage. I do not like spider mechs. Never have, don't think I ever will. We've got one torso that we can slap on right there. It ain't much, but it's something. We've got a reactor, which is fairly basic. And then we've got to decide what sorts of guns we want to play around with. I do have arms to fool around with, though, which is really nice, so we can actually look like a robot straight out of the gate. I'm pretty pleased about this. We do have hand ports, but it's going to kind of depend if we actually have any guns that can go in those hand ports. So it looks like we've got a left firearm. That means we're probably going to take off this arm, and maybe we'll put in a gale wind. It uses heavy ballistic ammunition. Okay, well, I've got an autocannon, and I've got like this little mech version of a 9mm glicky right now. Hopefully it'll be good enough. I don't know how our stats are kind of stacking up at the moment, but that's our mech. Now, this is what you're going to get to do before you go out on missions. It is currently 9 o'clock in the morning. If we want to, we can just go deploy to a mission if we desire to do so, but the Resistance has bases all over this planet, and inside these bases, we can do a bunch of random life sim components to the game, where you can go to the scrapyard and you can dig around to see if you can find anything useful. You can work for the normal people in town to raise your reputation with them, which thus increases the chance that they will jump in to help you when things are going wrong inside of missions. We can go to the marketplace, we can buy stuff, sell stuff, and manage our debt. We can fiddle with things at the mechanic. We can buy munitions, which I think we're definitely going to need. It looks like we started out with heavy ballistic ammunition, but it does not look like we started out with medium ballistic ammunition. We're also going to be a little lightweight on storage going into these missions, unfortunately. We've only got 4 storage slots right here. So since we're loaded up on heavy ammunition, we need to buy light ammunition. So let me see. I'm sorry, medium ammunition is what we want. Medium ballistic ammo. It's gonna cost us 10 grand. They must be 5.7 rounds. I don't know, dude, but they cost a fortune. We can only afford to fill up our pistol halfway. Little bit of a downer, but that's the way that she goes. That does leave us with 5 spots, though, for salvaging and finding stuff on the battlefield. I don't know if there's anything else I really want to do here with my time. I suppose we can scavenge a little bit. Let's see if we can salvage anything. So it looks like we found a arm. Okay, that's cool, that's cool. I'll take an arm. What else did we salvage? You search. Searching through the piles of scrap and damaged parts, you find scrap metal. Your salvage has been added to your mech's inventory. Okay, so what can I sell off in order to make some money here? We have an extra gale wind and we have an extra arm. One thing I don't like already is that when I mouse over this stuff, I'm not getting a pop-up to tell me how good it is, and that means that you're going to count on me relying on my memory in order to make this whole thing function. That's not going to go very well. I got the memory of a goldfish. It looks like this is a grappling hook arm that we have over here, so I can probably get away with just scrapping that for the 1,500 bucks. Yeah, let's just scrap one of the arms, I guess, to make a little bit of extra cash back because we broke as a joke right now. We've only got 7 hours left that we can play around with. I can give myself a buff for the next mission if I wanted to do so. We can also apply upgrades to our stuff if we desired to do so. 5,000 credits to upgrade my cannon, or I can get high fire rate on my side story. Let's go with rapid reload on our cannon. That sounds like a really good plan, and that leaves us with 6 hours left. So let me see what I can scavenge here. I also got a message on comms here before we go into combat. So you're the ace for this op? You've got a long walk to the Millennium Fortress. Sorry we couldn't drop your Granvir closer. Your Granvir is equipped with an experimental targeting system straight from the Watcher, but we had to conceal it in a civilian frame to smuggle it this far. I'm sure an ace of your caliber won't struggle to find what you need. Okay, sounds good. I just wanted to open this comm line. The operation is under your control from here on out. Check the local facilities and see if there's anything that can help you on your mission. Okay. And with that all done, there's not really too much left here to do. Everything's going to take me like 3 hours, and so I think I'm just going to deploy to a combat zone. This is the campaign overworld map. As far as I can tell, it is randomized, like it changes each time you play through the game. We can drop wherever we want to drop into. There's no limits. As long as it's a bright color, we can do that. But pay attention to the fact that there will be special things that can happen on each map that you'll want to pay attention to. The forest is probably safest for an inaugural run. More than likely. Oh, it's out of my range. Okay, I can only travel like that. My arrival time will be 7 a.m. over here. That's fine. I'd like to have a little bit of sunlight. Let's get out here and see if we can scrum it up with the enemy. All the items that you have stored in a depot are going to stay in that depot. You can hire resistance porters to bring stuff back for you, but it takes a little while and it costs you money, so make sure you've got all the stuff on your mech before you transfer over to a new depot. Now, when we drop, we're going to have a proceduralized map. Oop, there's an enemy contact right there. Okay, we're going to have to deal with him in just a second. I've got the game on tank controls. You can play arcadey or you can play tank controls. It's up to you which one you want to go for. Ooh, we got a hit right there. That'll take it. All right. Oh, come on. Okay, we got one enemy mech down. This guy over, I'm just going to serpentine like crazy and hope that we don't get hit by anything. 2 enemy mechs down, and we are getting paid bounties for each Millennium Corp monstrosity that we take down during the course of this mission. Yeah, let me see if I can put some autocannon on you. I like how accurate the autocannon is. A lot of the guns in this game have like fat spread on them, and so it can be unreliable with your aiming. Oh, we got guys behind us too. All right, we'll put a little autocannon on him. Okay, there we go. We got him. We got another one rocking in over here. Escalation is the name of the game right now, dude. We got all kinds of dudes rocking up on us. He tried to dodge out of the way, but it didn't work. This is a supply pod. You'll find them scattered around. They allow you to get loot. That's pretty much all you need to know. It looks like we can get like a giant kind of bow over here for our mech where we can smack people with melee weapons. I've never been a big melee guy in mech games, so I would probably stay away from it. But we've also got a reactor over here that looks like it's got better heat capacity, but a worse cooling rate than what we're currently rocking with. Worst case scenario is I can sell it once we get out of here, but the goal on this map is just to reach extraction, and you'll see a little meter in the top right-hand corner of the screen. It's called the escalation level. That's exactly what it sounds like. The harder and harder you hit these facilities, the more and more enemy mechs are going to show up to try to tune you up. Oh, this guy's going to try to put the fists on me, isn't he? Yeah, alright, let's just gun him down real quick. This guy actually has a firearm, but I think I can take his arm off before anything else goes wrong. Reload all weapons, and let's loot this depot. What do we have here? We've got a Twinkle reactor, which has very little heat capacity, but it cools like crazy. This guy over here, kind of the same thing. I'll take one reactor. I'll probably end up selling a lot of these. What I'm looking for, though, is guns and parts. What does this depot have right here? We've got scrap metal so that we can repair ourselves. We've got a weapon crate. I could go for that. We've also got like a Sesame Street-ass Grover over here. I can get medium ammunition as well, so I'll take the medium ammunition just to top up our side story, and then I'll take the weapon crate. How's my inventory looking right now? Managing cargo. We've got a little bit of space left. Not a ton, but a tiny bit. I guess I'll take the Grover arm. Worst case scenario, I can like scrap it, I suppose, later on. Do we have any optional objectives around here? It looks like we do have a question mark over on this side, so I'm just going to go investigate that real fast and see what it has for me. Some of the environmental objects are destructible in this game. You can make buildings collapse and stuff like that occasionally, but I would like to see that ramped up. I'm a big fan of environmental destruction in mech games. It's absolutely incredible in the most recent Mech Warriors how beautiful you can get them if you just focus on graphical mods and stuff like that that make little smoke plumes go up. Oop, I ran into a building. There we go. Let's get him cored on out. Kill the meat, save the metal. I'm just going to mag dump you with like everything that I have. Yeah, you just take that straight to the face. I don't know if I'll fit through this alleyway right here, but I'm going to try to fit through this alleyway so that I can check on this crate on this side before we go anywhere else. What's inside this depot? We've got heavy ballistic ammo. That might be helpful. How much heavy ballistic do I need? It's about right. Split to cargo hold, I guess. And then we'll combine that right there. Yeah, just top off. I didn't realize I could click and drag right here. We've got Wayfinder legs. They're actually kind of worse than what we have. So I'm thinking I'll take the component crate instead. We get to open those like item boxes. And once opened up, they'll give us free parts, which will be really helpful. I'm enabling sprint on this. If you've got a vehicle that has legs, you can usually sprint or do some kind of dash along the way, but pay attention to your heat meter up at the top of the screen because that's the cost for dashing and running around. But it looks like our first mission was an unabashed success. We made 45 grand, stacked a whole bunch more parts, and so now we're at the depot inside the zone that we just took over. I will take a moment to repair my armor by 50% because we picked up some scrap. That doesn't cost me any time if I repair it myself, and so that's what I would like to do. With this, I'm going to unpack it. We got a woodsman's axe. Okay, I'll probably try to sell that off. Let's move all of this stuff over. Can I shift click it? I can. Unpack the component crate, and it looks like we've got another arm. I'm pretty happy with my loadout right now. Like, I'm not really too upset about it, so I'm probably not going to fiddle with too many things. But I do need to manage my debt real fast. So let me repay my loan. How much do I owe? I owe 30,000 credits. So let's go ahead and we'll do the minimum fulfillment for right now because I don't want to get too wild and crazy on spending just this second because I don't know how much I'm going to need in order to do other stuff. I can spend money to get a permanent upgrade that gives me a broker that lets me access marketplace vendors faster. So all marketplaces are reduced by 1 hour. That'd be pretty good, but it's also pretty expensive as it stands right now. I'm going to see if I can sell off some parts. I'll sell the woodsman's axe to get some cash up. I'll sell both those reactors that we yoinked. And I'll probably, ooh, these arms are worth a decent amount of money. Yeah, sell off the arms real quick. In my inventory, how much? We need medium ballistic ammo, but we can probably find some on site. I think we should go to the outskirts and we should lay low in the forest. That'll lower our response level. That way less enemies are going to be around. Let's lay low for 3 hours. Response level is now back down, so that's going to be good for us. It says I can modify my torso to have a back port. I kind of want to do that. That sounds like a really, really rad thing to do. So it looks like if I spend 3 hours upgrading, I get a back port on my Marshall over here. Yeah, let's upgrade to have a back port right there. I only have 1 hour left, so I don't know. Yeah, I need 3 hours to modify it further. So technically, I could buy this gun that goes on my back that's in the black market, this Belladine right here. It's going to take me 2 hours to buy this stuff, so I think we're SOL for right now. We don't really have much more of a choice. Let's go ahead and deploy. So over here, it looks like we're going to arrive at 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. I'd rather have some daylight, so let's go. What is this right here? Farmland. So they've got a number of different services available there. Okay, let's see if we can go to this one right here, because that'll land us right at 8 a.m. for our deployment time. Okay, let's march it out of the fob and let's see how this kind of goes. Get that big bay door open, and it looks like we've got something off to our right that we can take a look at. They've definitely got fortified fortresses and things like that on this side. We do have this guy firing at me right now. I got bad news. For some reason, my guns are all unloaded right now, which is deeply upsetting. I would rather not be unloaded right now. This guy is just pounding on me at the moment. While all of my guns currently have no ammunition. Now we're good to go. I don't know why my ammo came out of my mech. Maybe it's because I upgraded it? I'm not too sure. But we got guns again, so it's going to be all right. Let's just offload as much. Here, hold this bullet for me, would you? Yeah, hold it with your... Oh, there's one behind... Oh, my God. There's so many of them. Oh, they are on, like, every side right now. Okay, we want the melee one to go down first. We want you to go down next, swivel the legs, and then sprint backwards to get out of the way of that shot. And then you needs to get, oh, big cannon hit to the right side flank of our vehicle just now. Oh, he's trying to lead me. You see him? You clever little bastard. There's a whole bunch of goodies inside of here. I like how they opened the gate for the enemy right there. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. I will take the scrap metal. And how are we looking on heavy ballistic ammo? Let me manage my cargo. Top up the heavy ballistic ammo right there. I will take the component crate for later. I will also, I don't think I can use that right now. I have to use it in between missions. But let's snatch and grab what we can from this side. So we've got a back holster capable of storing a wide variety of weapons. The holster itself is lightly armored at the cost of weight. The holster can exchange weapons with an armature that's on the same side. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying right there. Let me manage my cargo real quick. I'm going to take the weapon crate. I'm not going to take the ammo, but I will take the scrap metal just to help out with healing because both our hull and our armor are kind of shredded right now. And then we need to get the hell out of here. I think we just got sandwiched in between two different depots that both had like a payload of mechs that they could send at us, and that's a bit of a problem. Let's check these two depots real quick. Depot number 1, we've got scrap metal. We got medium ballistic ammo. That's helpful. Top me up. There we go. We got a weapon crate. I'll take that. A laborer arm. I can't carry too many more things right now, but we've got a component crate right there. I'll take the component crate. Worst case scenario, I crack them open at the next depot and they earn us some cash, but we're already up to like 100 grand at the moment, so I don't think we're going to struggle too much for actually getting ourselves paid. What's the exclamation point over here? It wants me to blow that up. Is that like a bounty target? It's gotta be. Alright, well, let's bang on this dude. 4,000 credits, and they are now going to orbitally bombard us. He's got some scrap metal. Scrap metal don't stack, so unfortunately, oh, we were liberating a village. Okay, well, hopefully pick up a little extra mercenary payment for that one. Like, I'm not greedy, but if I am gonna do extracurricular activities while on deployment, I expect to be, oh, Jesus. Okay, let's not get hit by that. Yeah, that's problematic. Definitely don't want to get hit by that. Let's get the hell out of here. The Resistance has opted to give us goodies. We've got a Duloc two-handed firearm, and it's got a fire rate of 190. What's the difference with, like, the fire rate of 190? That's a machine gun right there, so I'm taking that. That's what I want really, really badly. I'm okay with having one gun as long as that thing goes brrrr, and, like, it is enriched with the spirit of mullets and hell yeah, brother. That's the weapon that I'm looking for inside the confines of any mech game. Anything else simply will not do. So first things first, now that we're here, I need to repair some stuff. So let me repair my hull, and then I'm going to repair my armor a little bit just with what I have on me. We've got the Duloc right there, and I'll bring that with me just in case. I'm going to leave it in the depot while we're doing our modification efforts, but let's unpack you. So it's another Marshall torso. We'll unpack you, the Bell Tower. It is a side cannon, fires a single penetrating high damage shot. So it's like a sniper rifle. Okay, what do we have right here? We've got that same bat cannon thing that we had available. And then we've also got a new torso on this side. So we've got a shoulder-mounted machine gun. We've got ourselves a new torso on this side, which looks like it's not quite as tough as the one we have right now, but it does have a mod that allows you to carry more items. So that would be good if we were planning on looting a lot more aggressively. I don't see any way around it. I'm going to have to modify my Granvir. Like, I'm just going to have to do that. So there's my little bat cannon that's been added on right there. I don't know if I can, there we go. I can rotate the camera right there. Sick. So we got our bat cannon all nice and installed. That should give us a little bit of extra DPS. I could swap out the pistol for the bell tower. It would share ammunition with that gun, which might be a little bit of a problem. But I forgot that all my arms are at the previous depot, unfortunately. So, like, let's load this guy up with light ballistic ammo. That way I at least have the shoulder cannon ready to go. I also got to pay my debt. Let me repay this bad boy right here. I'm just going to full pay it because I don't think I'm going to need that much money. So that's been full paid. And then, for 1 hour's worth of time, I can see if they have an arm for sale, but there's no way to tell. Let's see what we can buy at the market, I guess. They do have arms, so that's good because I think I need to have 2 arms in order to actually wield the machine gun that we have available. So we got to decide if the labor arm is better or if we want the Grandine arm. A standard issue lightweight arm, a powerful melee arm not intended for combat. We've also got a weaponized armature over here. I think we need to have a hand in order for that to work. So I'm going to buy the Grandine, and I think we can go back in and modify as much as we want from here on out. So if I put the Grandine right there, and then on that hand slot, where's my Duloc at? There it is. I am going to need to pick up some ammunition. So let's go over here. It's going to take us 1 hour, and we got 4 hours left. So I needed light ballistic ammo, and I'm going to get 2 of those. And then I think I'm pretty much out of money, but we also need to get medium ballistic ammo. We broke. We broke as a joke right now. We're real broke. However, because we already paid the time cost for the black market vendor, I can now offload a lot of this stuff right here. Oh, it's still going to be 1 hour per sale. Bummer, dude. I left so much stuff behind. But we do have a new cool looking gun, and so you got to look at the bright sides in life. We are a little scuffed still. It looks like they have an ace on site over here. I'm kind of interested in that, but we can't get there right now. So I guess we'll just go to this region over here. Like, we can go over there or we can go over here. Either way, it gets me adjacent to where their ace is. So let's travel and let's test out these new blickies. I'm also kind of curious how my... Okay, so reload the Duloc before we even leave here. Oh, it's thick forest out here. Does my Steward fire on its own? How does that work? So my steward's on my 3 key. I'm not like a massive fan of that. And one problem this game does have is every time you like change your loadout around, you gotta set up your control groups over again, I guess. One thing that I've noticed that you gotta like fiddle around with it. But I've got it now set to 1. I don't know if 1 is good though. That might be a little iffy. Just put it on my secondary fire. That'll work. Yeah, that'll work right there. That little hatch came right up. All right, so it looks like we've got some kind of manufacturing facility over here. We're already taking bombardment from the sky, which is never a good sign. That means they know I'm coming. Let's get this mech moving a little bit faster, and we're going to see... It looks like evac is that one. Am I being shot at from behind right now? I think I might be, dude. Somebody's trying to clip me. They're trying to destroy my pretty little back at the moment. But I guess seeing as we're getting towards the end of the video, I'll just kind of like take this moment, just like I always do, to sort of condense everything together and point out things about Granvir that I think have me interested in the experience so far. But for this video, keep in mind that this is very much first impressions. I've only played for like an hour or two. There is customizability in this game. I think that's one of the main selling points. There are a ton of parts that will rattle around and drop while you're playing through the game. Almost an overwhelming number if you're playing the scavenger class because every single thing you kill can be looted. I think that's really good. I see so many of these tank, mech, flying fortress, whatever games come out where you're supposed to be able to customize them, and a large chunk of them are really stifled by just a sheer lack of variety when it comes to possible loadouts. There seems to be quite a few things to play around with here when it comes to tinkering with your mech, and I think that's probably going to be the main draw of the game for me so far. I do think that the UI kind of trips over itself a bit. It felt very intrusive to me. It's a menu-heavy game so far, and could probably be condensed a little bit more, but, you know, not that huge of a concern once you've got it all figured out. I think some of it might just be stubbornness because I'm used to Mech Warrior as well with like YAML and loads of mods, so I know where things are and I know where I like them, and so I kind of had to adapt for the first time in a long time. In general, movement and shooting, they feel pretty good here. I think the sound effects are well selected. Movement could use some improvement. I think the movement speeds, velocities, jumps, all that kind of stuff, they feel right, but the overall weight of the mechs feel off. It feels sort of like they're skating on top of the landscape, and I think with a little bit of tacked-out camera work and maybe some lower leg animations that show the legs sagging and bobbing up and down along knee joints and stuff like that would help. If I was using like a spider walker, it wouldn't bother me, but with definite like bipedal movement, you want to see that gajoom, 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 gajoom thing going on. From there, I found the mission maps to be pretty simple. You go in, you blow stuff up. I do think that extra stuff being on the map, other than loot and like occasional optional destroyable stuff, would be good. Caravans you randomly find on one corner that they want an escort, all the way to the evac or like a location you have to defend until like helicopters show up. You know, just a little bit more mission variety never hurts. The AI is simple, but it does what it's supposed to do. Melees try to melee you, shooters try to shoot, so on and so forth. But the ace fights do get a little bit more interesting, and so it does get a tiny bit more sophisticated with the aces. Graphically, I think the explosions, the lightings, and whatnot, they're all very locked in this Mega Man Legends level of graphic fidelity. They could be punched up a tiny bit while keeping the artistic integrity intact, I think. When you're getting hit, sirens should be going off, you know, flashes of light alarms, things of that nature that let you know you're taking hits, smoke from destroyed wrecks, lighting being thrown by the actual muzzle flare of your giant guns that you're firing. All of those things might make the game look a little bit better, but I think all in all where I'm at with Granvir is that I'd like to do a few more runs and see how I feel after that. I'm intrigued at the idea of the condensation of like a Mech Warrior style campaign into a permadeath gauntlet of upgrading and blasting. Like, I think that's a pretty solid idea. Like, I don't think the game quite stands shoulder to shoulder with a fully modded, like, Mech Warrior 5 run, but that's not really a fair comparison either. And so, like, I think this is a solid, respectable chop at a mech game from a small developer, taking Mech Warrior, turning it into a roguelike run, die, run again format that works and is enjoyable. It is much more fast-paced than the long mission structure of some other mech games. And so, my name is Splat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, it was Granvir. Tomorrow, it's something else. Thanks, folks.